Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 10. Now here we are back in a video because I unfortunately couldn't make the scheduled time, but despite that we're gonna cover a bunch of things today as well. And I checked the video that got uploaded, and unfortunately the resolution for some reason got a bit squeezed, so it was looking pretty weird like this, and not the way it's supposed to look like, but hopefully now it is fixed, and I guess we will see. So anyways, today we're gonna be talking about the save load system, the boot manager, and also using plugins. So to handle your game data, you typically want to write into a file, right? And you may or may not want that to be accessible or readable by the users. So we have a handful of ways to manage this. Essentially, we have this file class. I can also show you in script if I navigate anywhere. I'm just gonna write into a ready function. So we have this file class. It's actually file access in Godot 4. And if we open the documentation, this provides methods for file reading and writing operations. And you can see this is like some elementary code to save and load files. And one thing you can notice is how they begin. It's user colon // and this is basically your directory to where your save files are stored for Godot. And you may have noticed that we have here we have res colon // for our project directory, and then user is our basically our save directory or project directory on the end of the user. And that is stored. I'm gonna open one of my projects to refer to that. That is stored under C users, the appropriate user, app data roaming, and the Godot folder. And then we have app user data right here, created for basically every project. I think we will also see the Godot course, yeah. This doesn't have much, it's just the logs and like different things, right? That aren't quite related to us right now, but if I copy this code and just paste these functions in here, let's remove that. Now we need to do the indentations with tabs, right? Now we can essentially save whatever we want to. This is my data. I can type that there when we're ready, right? And now if we launch the scene, if we did it correctly, here's our save file. And this is a .dat format. It doesn't really matter what extension it has, because you can just open it with Notepad at any point, and you can see our information is stored here. Now we can also apply encryption, and basically that prevents the players from being able to read the data in a sensible way. And we can also use the we can also use this function to load our data, but that actually overlaps with the load function we use to load resources. So I will just kind of send the naming of that. And now we're gonna print at the beginning of the function whatever we can load, and you can see we retrieved this. So to encrypt, to use encryption, we can use open encrypted and open encrypted with pass. So we can see it's actually like, I don't think it matters whether we use open encrypted or open encrypted with pass. The difference is that here you need a number to be able to encrypt or decrypt the information, and here you basically need a password. So this just takes a string, and this takes in a binary key to decrypt or encrypt the data. I'm gonna say open encrypted with pass, and now we need to assign the password, right? We could say it's 123 to make it simple. And you can also see how we are using this file access enum, or the modflex enum in file access, which is used to determine how we want to handle the file we are working with at the specific moment. Of course, for saving, we do file access.write, and for loading, we do file access.read. So now if I do the same thing here, we're gonna see if I launch the project, yeah, we are not gonna get anything yet because we haven't saved with encryption yet, and we are trying to load that. So now I have saved, this is my data. And now if I stop the project, I shouldn't have closed this. User data, Go course. Now this is what we have stored. However, if we load it back, that's going to like return us the data because we use this password. And if you want to make it so that users cannot exchange files with each other like save files, you actually need a unique password in a way, right? And we can do that by getting the unique identifier of the device's operating system. And this means if I were to send this file to you, you wouldn't be able to encrypt or decrypt it, because the password is the unique ID of the device. So yeah, there's that for file access and the encryption. So by boot manager here, what we mean is a scene that defines and handles the boot behavior of the game. Because if you like have a game that doesn't specifically have to start in the main menu, right? Then when you launch the game, you may not have to end up in the main menu, for example, first, if you have a opening cutscene on the first level. And that can actually be done by just creating some logic in the ready function that will kind of handle the information based on the save data. And you can also save like dictionaries and all those stuff. You can save anything you want to in the file. So you can kind of work around these things so that you can handle such a boot manager logic. And like say that if you have a variable saved or some data saved that indicates you have already passed the opening cutscene, right? Then you'll just load into the main menu. And otherwise you will be like, if you haven't watched the opening cutscene yet, you'll be thrown into the first scene where it's supposed to happen instead of the main menu. So yeah, that can be something pretty useful. And then your project's main scene should typically also be the scene of this boot manager or whatever scene that manages the boot logic, right? And there you can also extend the logic further. So, you will check if you aren't directly tied to a main menu, you can check which scene you visited the last time, and then you'll just spawn there if your main or start menu is like part of the game world or something. at least that's something we have used in one of the projects I've worked on, and that was really useful to play around with, and we still have it up until this day. And as for plugins and APIs, so basically a plugin is something that performs a certain group of functionalities for us independently from our core system. So, for example, like this is something I have first-hand experience with. I created a save load plugin because in Godot it's like, well, yeah, you can just write to the file and store a string or whatever value you want, but that's not gonna cut it in the long run. Like, if you want to just keep storing it like this, then good luck creating a full-fledged game, because this way it's just a nightmare to parse all the values that you have. And then there are also like other things Godot in particular lacks, right? There are also pretty great audio managers out there that you can use instead of having to use all the audio stream player nodes. But we're not gonna get into that in too much detail now. And actually the plugins that already exist for audio management are like still not as easy to use as I think they could be, so eventually I'll also probably write something for audio. So anyway, yeah, plugins are just basically add-ons to our code and our project. So if you go to the asset lib, the asset library, we have plenty of plugins being recommended right off the bat. And these are all used for like different things. You can just have whatever you want here. You can also grab my plugin, and that's what I'm gonna demonstrate how to use, because like I just know how to work with it, right? So if you click on this, it's gonna prompt you to download the plugin. And now if I do that, this is gonna give us this prompt, and you can see what it's gonna add into my project. I'm just gonna remove the license and the readme, and now if I install this, it's gonna go into our add-ons folder, and basically this is where all of our plugins go. And now there you have it. I think, yeah, you have to enable the plugin here. And now we also have the save system autoload automatically enabled since we've toggled the plugin. And then the plugin has this configuration file and also a separate editor plugin script. But you can call this up online if you're interested in plugin development. It is a pretty cool topic. So when you're working with another person's code or a plugin or whatever, you'll need to read documentation and be able to use the code that's provided. So fortunately, this plugin has alright documentation. If you click on this view files here, oh, okay, remind me later. So if you come here, this takes you to the GitHub page of the project, and here I've written some instructions, documentation, and also some demonstration. So basically all the functions are defined here that you can use for particular things, and all of this just breaks down to being able to comprehend someone else's code. And if you go into the script, you can see here some examples as well that are like commented out. maybe this should actually be deleted in the actual official plugin, but whatever, really. And then, as you can see, everything is pretty much documented and kind of separated into regions. Of course, now if you look for a bigger plugin like a dialog manager, then I'm just gonna download this. You can see this is like way more ambitious, and if you open the files, you can also see this actually just got updated pretty recently. And yeah, this is like an entirely bigger thing, right? But it's just the same thing. If it has good documentation, it is usually easy to work with. There's also a dialog plugin. It's called Dialogic. Godot. But unfortunately, it doesn't have documentation for Godot 4, as far as I know yet. So that's a bit problematic. But this is also a good dialog plugin, and you can just play around with these, download whatever you wish to. And yeah, like the possibilities are infinite, really. So yeah, that's all we've had planned for this lesson today, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.